These are some Dinar Guru updates, starting off with Mark Z via PDK. We are still hearing everywhere from now to the end of the month for the release. The PTB do not want us to know the date. They're going to keep throwing out dates and curves to keep us guessing. They are doing this on purpose. All right, Mountain Goat, finally we hear overtones and direct convictions of some of the real problems with the dinar and currency policy in Iraq now in place. We all need to settle down and relax. The reinstatement is coming, and I certainly hope they can pull it off this January 2023. Frank 26, Iraq Boots on the Ground report, Firefly. They said something about only thing needed was a paragraph to be done in the budget on the exchange rate and the amount for infrastructure. All right, Hennig question. I thought Parliament's legislative term started on the 9th. Hennig says there's been a lot of misinformation back and forth, lots of conflicting info, lots of stuff that just doesn't make sense, but when you step back and think it through, you'll see it's all intentional. Mark Z via PDK, the rumbling and chatter is still there. We just do not know the timing. As was explained to me, they could go at any moment. Banking sources feel like things could move at any moment. They are not waiting for any one specific thing to be completed. Things are completed enough to pull the trigger, and now is what I'm being told. Timing-wise appears to be soon. We just have to watch it play out. Frank 26, I've always said reinstatement, but the CBI is reinstituting their currency. This is a completely different point of view. Claire article, quote, government movement to complete the requirements for Iraq's accession to the World Trade Organization, quote, the ministry's plan during the current year includes completing technical accession files in terms of goods, services, and intellectual property, in addition to harmonizing legislation and laws with the agreements of the multilateral organization. All right, Pimpy says a huge jump in the exchange rate. It's not going to happen. It's going to be in increments. At the very best, you can hope for that it gets over to the 1190 dinars. Mark Z via PDK, RBC, and HSBC Canada to come together. So Royal Bank of Canada will be acquiring HSBC Canada. RBC and HSBC and Scotia are the banks I was told years ago would be handling our currency exchanges in Canada. So I thought I would share that with our Canadian friends. Bruce via Wiser Now, mostly everybody's under gag orders. NDA, they're not allowed to talk. We are really just so close that they don't want certain people talking. It's harder and harder to get strong information. Based on the intel we received today and last night, it looks like we should get started in the next 2 days, Wednesday or Thursday. Let's look forward to that, which should be a great rest of our week, that we should be getting some good wood here in the next day or two. Nader from the Mideast says, I think it's going to be on Forex, and that day you'll be international. I think they're going to come out with a new currency, but for now they're not saying anything. They're talking about it, but they're not showing any improvements. Frank 26, Firefly. The CBI comes out today and says they are prepared soon to show confidence in the dinar, and Sadani has ordered opening many areas of the green zone. They're trying to show the citizens they have security. They're trying to get us to not only have confidence in them, but in the currency they are now saying they're going to give us. Frank says it just doesn't get better than this. All right, Mark Z via PDK, I'm hearing some fantastic stuff. If it pans out by tomorrow evening, you guys will all know it. That is where I will leave this, and I am getting leaned on pretty hard. The news is solid, and I'm sorry about being so vague, but I am not sure what I can get away with saying. I don't want to risk my own exchange. Paulette says Parliament having their first session is irrelevant in my opinion. They cannot work on passing the budget until they receive it. Sadani's GOI has not passed it yet. All laws, including budget, have to pass the GOI prior to Parliament receiving them. It is only then that Parliament can commence the first reading. Thereafter, it goes to the relevant committee to discuss, review, and then return to Parliament with their analysis and comments. The second and third readings can then commence. If passed, it can then be sent to the president for signature, after which it then goes to the finance minister for disbursement, which often takes upwards of 30 days. Lastly, Mountain Goat, the Sudanese government obliges all of its institutions to deal in the Iraqi dinar, unquote. Mountain Goat says it's definitely a move in the right direction, but still they need to create a demand for the dinar from outside of Iraq, thus eliminate the need to exchange the dinar for dollars to spend on obligations and purchases outside of Iraq. The pieces are all in place, and so when will they pull the trigger?